Hi there! This is of course the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show. This is the first tarot show of the new year, so I want to wish each and every single one of you a very happy and a very jolly, merry, giggly, bubbly and absolutely tremendous new year. Okay, I do hope you had a great Thanksgiving and Christmas time, no matter what part of the world you're in, and you had a good time with your family and your friends, and you received your heart's desires, and everything was absolutely tremendous. But now we're going to crack on and get some readings done. For those of you who don't know and are new to this channel, I am a professional tarot reader. I do this each and every single day for a living. Okay. And if you want to have your own tarot reading requested, then please just send through a email, okay? Not a private message, not in the comment section. You've got to get that straight, okay? Send me through an email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help. Now, some of you have been a little naughty and have been submitting a few requests via private message on this YouTube channel, and I will have to at least attempt to tackle some of those as well as everything else which is coming through on the email. So I'll just see basically what I can do. I might do lots of little shows, I might carry on doing it once a week, I really don't know yet, but it's all the wonders of real life entertainment, okay? I have to fit the tarot show in with everything else that I'm doing in my life, so I can't always guarantee it's going to come out when you want it to. So you just got to accept that. But in the meantime, let's crack on with the first reading of today. Okay, user Super King Kill Palmer wants to know about number 23 and whether it has any particular significance to their life, and of course whether there's anything significant going to happen in their future. Well, as far as number 23 is concerned, people have made stuff up about numbers since the dawn of time. It depends upon which particular system you're looking at. So there is a significance to the number 23, but there's also a reverse significance to it, and so many other different varieties of significance to the number 23. I would not be too worried or paranoid about the number 23 suddenly coming into the fore here. If it's something which has been a consistent thing in your life, maybe that's more to do with an identity thing, and it shows what you are sensitive to in the fact that you notice it. Okay, when I learn a new word, I tend to hear it everywhere. Now, it's not because that word is being mentioned everywhere, but it's because I am noticing it more. So there's something about you which notices number 23 much more, and maybe if you did like some regression hypnosis throughout your life, maybe it'll highlight a time in your life when the number 23 was really important. That's something else for you to have a look at. But I'll do a very quick, life spread and see whether there's any real important stuff coming out for you. Bear with me a second. Still using the Book of Thoth Tarot. That's your first card of today, okay? Knight of Discs. Talking about stability and strength and wealth, actually, funnily enough. And if that's the first card, maybe the year of 2012 will be good for you in that particular respect. Very much a question of protected, guarded, down to earth, with all the things you really need. We got some romantic signs coming further on down the line from there. Okay, so we've got stability, we've got earth signs, we've got water signs, and essentially the message there is that of matters of the heart being fulfilled as well. I think this is still to do with the year of 2012. But as far as big, proper, total success and long-term achievement, you've got a few more issues to go through first. You're going to have to be a bit more patient when it comes to thinking about massive, major success, okay? And I think that you're going to find it quite hard. There'll be an awful lot of individuals you'll have to battle against in order to get to where you want to go. The feeling that I'm getting is that you will be able to get there. It's just a question of a bit of a gauntlet to go through first prior to actually reaching a level whereby you're going to feel happy. So be aware of that, but realize that there is still a future for you. Okay, Nadine, you've got a really curious one because you've had some really good jobs and now you want to move into hospitality and actually get like a feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment from hospitality. Maybe that would actually be quite a good decision for yourself, because hospitality is quite a good industry. It suffered a bit in the recession, so it's not recession resistant, but I'm sure with your intelligence you'll find a way of turning the job itself into one that could possibly be recession resistant. But let's have a quick look and see how things are going to work out for you in the longer term. Bear with me a second, please. Okay, purity career, so again we got more financial things coming through. Would expect to have more in the way of financial signs appearing for you. Right, and basically we've actually got some of them here. First and foremost, again, down to earth signs. It's a different earth sign. It's the Prince of Cups this time round. Sorry, the Prince of Discs this time round. And then again we got signs relating to pleasure and a feeling of celebration. What else have we got there for you? So essentially, is this path the right one for yourself? I feel so, and of course that sense of knowledge that the High Priestess provides, because the High Priestess deals with hidden knowledge, literally hidden knowledge. You've got to reveal it. How can you reveal it? You can reveal it through doing a course of education, which is basically what you're planning on doing, and getting yourself to a greater position of stability, success, and achievement as a result of having more knowledge revealed to you. You've already got some hidden knowledge, haven't you? The hidden knowledge of what you feel you're better designed to do, okay, and how that's going to help you out in the long term. So yes, that does look quite positive. I would seriously recommend that you do take this course of action on the strength of what I've got in front of me right now. Also signs of passion, I think you'll be very dedicated to it, and also a sense of joy and happiness, which is again a very positive reflection on where things could possibly be going for you. So I've got no real qualms about how your longer term career is going to work out. It's just a question of keeping that focus in place, and I think you'll get there. Karen, born in 1994, would like to have a reading for 2012. Okay, I don't tend to do general readings, but we can again try and focus in on this one particular year to see whether there is anything significant which is going to happen for you. In some cases, a really bland reading can come out, and a bland reading can be a very good thing, because it means that basically there's going to be nothing serious or scary or dangerous or disastrous happening in your life. So it's not just a question of me turning around and saying, oh, you know, you're going to have tons of money and excellent relationships and all the rest of that kind of stuff, because sometimes a person's life isn't like that, if you get my drift. So let's have a quick look. Do we have drama, or do we have banality? We have some drama, okay? The Queen of Swords is a reference to an individual who will be around you, who may be a little bitter and a bit negative towards you, and you may have to defend yourself verbally from this individual because they don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So there's an individual who you may need to be careful of. But generally speaking, you're again quite a financially stable individual, and also quite a wise individual who's capable of developing new, bigger and better aspects to your life. Also, there we go, the Six of Swords. We've talked about this before on this show, okay? I like the Six of Swords. It seems to talk to me about planning and preparation, making sure you've got all your skittles in a line so that you can knock them all down in one big go. And the only way you can achieve that is if you plan and prepare. There's something about this year which is planning and preparing you for bigger and better stages further on down the line. So therefore it is in many ways one of the most important years of your life. That much I will tell you. Okay, this is a reading for Lola, and it's a love reading, a standard 8-card relationship reading. We're going to focus this on the one particular individual that was asked about, and we'll see what kind of thoughts, feelings, moods, energies, and all the rest of that are going to appear for you right now. Bear with me a second. Okay. You know what the 8-card relationship reading looks like, so I'm not going to bore you too much with that. Okay, I mean, I don't actually have to turn the camera around to show you the cards. I can hold the cards up. There are 3 positions for the here and now. There's your side of the reading, there's his side of the reading, and then there's the nature of the relationship. And this is brilliant because the Empress deals with a nurturing, caring compassion and a variety of love which is there to, you know, seriously in sickness and in health type feelings, okay? So yes, this person does really love you, and you've got a lot of stability in place so that you can have a longer term future. On his side of things towards yourself, the signs there are very obviously success orientated, with the Six of Coins there coming through very strongly, talking about a particular result will occur for yourself, as well as again very loving. But you're also involved with a male person who's got a lot of very feminine attributes in terms of caring, nurturing, compassion, loving in a certain way, also artistic somehow. It feels very interesting. Now on your side of things, I think there's some anxiety there, there's some fear, but there's also some drive and passion, okay? You want to have a peaceful, calm relationship, but there's also a feeling of frustration inside you, because you want to find out more, you want to get reassurance through his behavior, but through trying to get reassurance through his behavior, that might upset the peaceful balance you've currently got. So that's why you're in this sort of like between the worlds kind of like feeling. But that between the worlds kind of like feeling is what is going to come to an end as you start building the relationship further and foremost. We're going to turn over a few more cards here to look at short-term, mid-term, long-term, future. That's 3 cards, okay? Alright. This is actually looking really rather interesting and intriguing as well. From the outset, your very short-term future is still slow progress, okay? It's like walking through treacle, not quite getting to where you want to go. And that's one of the messages of the 7 of Cups. So I can't tell you that everything's going to turn around like tremendously straight away overnight. But on the other hand, we do have, coming through for your mid-term future, a great sense of happiness and joy and not needing to be too concerned. The Fool speaks about a carefree something or other, a carefree nature, carefree attitude, and therefore the feeling of optimism is coming through. You don't need to worry too much. And then further on down the line from that, what we've got there is more signs relating to success and passion and power. And in this particular case, something which feels like a sense of celebration. That moment where you're having some kind of like luxury meal together, that sort of thing. That's the way the reading is describing it. So you're moving your life forward quite nicely. And this is a relationship which will start off quite slow, but then will probably rocket up. You start moving towards fun and enlightenment and spending more time together and all the other good stuff. So you're doing what's right now. Okay, Loco. What you need to do to find your motivation is to think about what you want to have in your future. And the most important way of doing that is to use a pen and paper, write down a list of all the goals you've got, all the things you actually want in your life that you don't have at the moment, and then set about creating plans as to how to achieve them. Create a SWOT analysis highlighting the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats to your chosen paths and what you're trying to achieve, and then try and work out goals to get there. And discuss it with a wide variety of different people. You can even discuss it with me live on the phone if you want. Okay? So, there's ways of sorting these things out. Okay, Melissa, born in 1987, is curious about 2012. We are all curious about 2012. It is the one year when people are actually asking, can you please tell me about this 1 year and how it's going to impact me, right? Because that's not normally the relevant question. The relevant question for a lot of people is just like, hey, it's the new year, can I just have a reading for this year? But now it's a question of, what is going to happen in 2012 for me? There's a great feeling of expectation that 2012 is going to provide an awful lot for an awful lot of people. All we can do is take it one day at a time, be the best that we can be, okay? Head towards our goals and try and see what we can do. Right, so for yourself, miraculous change brought about by your own willpower, good sense of happiness. That does also refer to financially being in the light as well as a sense of joy through being with the right quality of people around you. There's also a very spiritual thing about this. Maybe you'll be finding a spiritual or religious path which suits your needs and your nature, and you'll be comfortable in it. So you won't have to struggle too much to try and reach that point in your life whereby you feel comfortable, okay? The individuals around you seem to be quite good. I would say that there's some holidays abroad for you there to a certain degree, because it's just this feeling of some frivolous fun. I mean, think about all the colours that you've got, which is describing very poetically the way that your year is going to pan out for you. Joy, warmth, and something miraculous. It feels quite positive, okay? There's no signs of worry, there's no signs of anxiety there. It looks like most of the negativity that you've ever come across in your life is in the past now, and it won't come to you in the future. All you got to do is be the best you can be. You've got some concerns, but they don't seem to be affecting your life path too much. So you're doing okay. Okay, Kevin Nason, you want me to have a look at your career and your relationship. Let's just have a quick look and see what the reading says about both of those two things. Still shuffling like crazy, still the Book of Thoth Tarot. I know I should get some more variety, and I should really get a new Book of Thoth Tarot. Let's have a quick look. Career, first and foremost, where you are right now. You seem to like the job itself, but it doesn't seem to fulfill you. There's a sense within this particular reading of an awareness of very slow progress. You seem to have done an awful lot to try and get further than you are right now, and you feel like you're being held back. I don't think you are being held back. I just think the organisation that you're in at the moment has got some kind of limitations, and you can't progress beyond them at this present point in time. I would not be too concerned about that, because you are being stored up for better things. You still need to be a self-promoter though, because you need to be able to express your willpower to be able to do better. That's the kind of feeling that I'm getting, okay? Passion, 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 the drive to do better is probably the most important thing that you could possibly have right now. But the sense of spiritual connectedness with the work in which you're doing appears to be quite strong too. So it's the right work for you, do not be concerned about that. But don't worry about it too much. Your time will come, but you have to work for it. Now, the reading upon the relationship, that's curious. Force between the two of you, again coming through with the Six of Coins, a very strong sign for relationship readings at the moment. Okay, for some reason, for people at the moment. People are doing better in their relationships in 2012 than they have been in the past. Now, on your partner's side of things, air and fire signs, that's okay, but on the other hand, that also means you might not be connecting well enough or deep enough. And therefore there is extra work that needs to be done to make sure this can work out well. This is someone who needs to be reminded as to where your feelings lie. But on the other hand, be sensitive, because their emotions appear to be a little intense at times, and there's like little hair triggers. And if you trip those little hair triggers, then basically bam, there's going to be some arguments happening, so you need to be careful of that. On your side of things, you think it could be a good relationship. You got the Hermit sign there talking about heading towards a certain goal, but you also feel isolated. This relationship is doing you some good, but there's also a feeling of a need for healing. So it's a dangerous relationship in some particular ways, because there's things you need to go through to become a more complete, more well-rounded human being, and you don't know whether you can go through it in this relationship or whether that would actually put the relationship on a bad footing. So it's curious. Now, progression, short-term, mid-term, long-term, future. Very good indeed. New beginnings is your medium-term future sign. So 3 to 6 months down the line from now, a change of direction within the relationship, making it seem much, much better and much happier. Short-term future, taking more responsibility. So stop the relationship from being something that you want it to be. Okay? You want it to be in a certain direction. You got to stop wanting it to be in that certain direction, and you got to start letting it be in the right direction. And part of the responsibility is to let go and not to try and influence the other person negatively. Okay, we all try and do that in our relationships, trying to influence the other person, trying to make your man and or woman, the kind of person you want them to be. Well, let me just quickly express that you are powerless over people, places, and things, and you've got to accept that. This is a good relationship, but it's a relationship in which acceptance will become necessary. I think you've got progress in the future. I think you can get to some great places here. And I don't sense negativity with the relationship. I don't feel this person is disloyal. I do feel this person will or can get frustrated at times, and so you need to be aware that their frustrations could possibly lead to something negative, but that can only be as a result of you being negative to them. Okay, Susan P. Alright, let's have a quick look and see whether the relationship's going to get back on track according to the reading. Bear with me a second, please. Here we go. Still using my traditional method, combination of tarot and anything else that comes through. I hope that's okay, as I often say. With some of my clients, I joke and say that one day we'll have a karaoke night to my various introductions, you know. Will we? Of course not. It might be a laugh if we did. But on the other hand, you'd have to be very drunk to enjoy it. Right, okay. You got a very difficult relationship there. This is an individual who's very different to yourself. So I think it's more a question of you deciding. I mean, your question was, is he going to come back into a relationship with you? Not, are you going to get more perspective about him and whether he is actually right for you? I think that's incredibly interesting. So it's almost like you've taken the attitude that he is right for you in every possible way. There's nothing wrong with him at all, and he has got no problems at all, and everything is just up to his own behavior as to whether the relationship will work or not. That's rather curious, isn't it? Why do you think like that? What is it about this individual that makes you think that he should be the only key decision maker in the relationship, your needs are irrelevant, and that he is perfect? You know, you got to think about where your needs really lie as far as the relationship is concerned. The Fool, when it's reversed, can sometimes speak about not having a full grasp on what's going on around you, and that can be a difficulty. So the reflection here is, I think that, yeah, you've got a lot of emotional concerns towards this individual, you've got a great feeling of love towards this individual, that's great. But on the other hand, I still deeply, madly and truly love my ex, but I certainly would not get involved in a relationship with her. Alright? Because love and relationships are two different things. That's why people talk about love and relationships, alright? Because they're two different things. Like you talk about chalk and cheese. Or like you talk about fire and water. Alright? Because love is an emotion, which can be complex and painful, yes. But the relationship requires the head and not the heart. Do you see where I'm coming from there, okay? So, what you might need to do is to think very carefully as to whether this individual, this male individual, is actually behaving in a manner which you think you could get on with for a long-term intellectual relationship moving further forward for many years to come. And if he's not communicating, then that is his communication to you that he's not quite good enough for your standards. Okay? I mean, I've had, I used to work in this company many years ago. There was this chap there who I liked as a friend. You know, in the workplace, we would always be talking and all the rest of that. When it came to home time or the weekends, you know, there was no sort of like talking on the phone or hanging out together, and I thought, what's going on here? I then ended up leaving that job, and I only saw him like once or twice afterwards. And, you know, communication died off, and I had to realize that this person was not exhibiting the right form of behavior to be a friend of mine. And that's the same way of thinking you've got to apply to a relationship. Because if that person is not behaving well enough, then there's something wrong with them. Okay, because they're not satisfying the requirements to be in a real relationship with yourself. Does it mean to say that you've done anything wrong? Not necessarily. It could mean to say that they're an individual who's got some kind of psychological problem or issue, and they're not thinking clearly about how they should be behaving towards you. Or they've got different illusions of goals. And the power of the Fool reversed, so to speak, is on their side of things, okay? I find it very curious that in this relationship between you and this one particular individual called Randy, I think it was Randy, wasn't it? That the Fool reversed is in the forces between the two of you. And lack of perception appears to be one of the main feelings that this particular reading is giving me. Why would that be? Now on their side of the reading, ambition, drive, yeah, but also a certain sense of already having arrived. So maybe you're dealing with someone who's a little conceited or arrogant. Maybe a negative trait which you have recognized but you didn't accept when you were dealing with them. On your side of things, emotional suffering and having been patient for too long. Have there been people who've been giving you advice or recommendations that were inappropriate to this particular relationship situation? Has it been causing you more pain than it's been curing? Have you therefore been looking in the wrong direction for the right kind of advice, and instead of asking other people about this one particular individual, maybe you should have just been observing his behavior and to see whether his behavior fits in with what you want or need to have. Remember, love and relationships are two different things. Love is the heart, but a relationship is the head. Often. Not always. I mean, relationships are complex things, of course. But I think that you need to start applying a different perspective when dealing with these matters. Progression, short-term, mid-term, long-term, future. Very short-term future, there's a gap. The universe can speak about absence. It can also speak about a feeling of suffering, which comes out of trials and tribulations. But also a sense of learning as a result of having gone through trials and tribulations. So this individual may not have been good for you, but there's still a great sense of learning which you have to do inside because of what's been happening in this one particular relationship. And yes, it's going to be hard work and it's going to go on for a long period of time into the future. Is this individual right for you? That's up to you to decide, not me. It's certainly not up to any other reader or psychic or medium or spiritualist or anyone you can contact on certain websites or psychic lines or whatever. It's not up to us. It has never been up to us, and it never will be up to us. It's up to you. Just you, and nobody else. It's not up to fate. It's not up to karma. It's not up to past lives. It's not up to spirit guides. It's up to you and how the other person's behaving. I do hope you haven't thought that I was being too harsh when I said that. But people want me to speak the truth. And that is what I have done. Okay, Michaela Q, you want a good quality relationship. You're aware that time is passing by, but you still want to have that good relationship. Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Alright, here it goes. Okay, well, after having gone through a period of literal disappointment, I mean, that's so crazy. You're talking about like getting on in life, okay? And then, of course, we get the Five of Cups, which talks directly about disappointment in a very blunt way. So maybe that's some of the emotions you've got right now. But on the other hand, there's more things happening in the future, okay? Because we've got signs relating to direct loving connections with an individual and a feeling of pleasure and joy which comes from it. So that's actually very positive indeed, and also fun associated with one particular individual who's just right for you, and leading on to a good quality, stable, long-term future. So as far as do you have a future? Yes, I do think you do have a future. Is it going to be okay? Potentially. When's it going to happen for you? Possibly this year. Okay, Saba H. Let's have a quick look and see whether this relationship between yourself and this individual is going to be okay. Here we go. Still using a traditional combination of tarot and anything else that comes through. I hope that's okay. Here we go, one step at a time. Okay. Right, well, the force between the two of you is still looking not too bad, although there is a feeling of separation and distance, which of course you explained to me anyway, but that's also what the Hermit can mean sometimes. You see where these little connections can appear, it's rather weird. Right, on their side of things, they find the relationship a bit of a challenge, but there's a willpower to make something occur. There's no sense of wanting to move away, more a question of wanting to move closer, but you've got to work at it big time. Adjusting to the way that things are at the moment can be rather hard, but the reading is still suggesting that there's some potential there. On your side of things, you want change to occur, but you also want him to do an awful lot of the work. Try and turn things around the other way, so you're actually suggesting new things to him, but suggesting it via adult conversation, and not in a way which can be misconstrued as being just entertaining conversation. If you can do that, you've got greater potential. Short-term, mid-term, long-term future, a bit of a wavy line, okay? It's not a straight path, but there's still some good attributes there, including some stability. This could be a good relationship for you. Okay, now those are all the readings for today. But don't worry, I've got lots in the pipeline. I don't know when I'm going to fit the next show in, but I'm going to get one done anyway. And we'll get through all the backlog, and we'll answer many more new questions and new inquiries. Remember, this is not tarot readings by, on demand. If you want it on demand, whenever you want, and whenever I'm online, then get on the phone, get on the internet chat, send me through an email reading via keen.com or live person, and I'd be happy to help. I'm typically available in the early mornings USA time on keen.com and live person, and I'm normally available in the mornings on the absolutely amazing and fantastic kuma.co.uk. which is now also opening up in the USA. So the name Nick Dutch is going to appear on many more websites in America pretty soon, which will make a lot of you out there very happy. I know if there's more accessibility for people to reach Nick Dutch, that's all well and good. Okay, don't forget, and this is something I'm very serious about, okay? A tarot reading, a mediumship reading, a clairvoyant reading, and all of the rest is legally billed as an entertainment service for good common sense reasons. I want you to enjoy your tarot readings. I want you to try and use them creatively to think about your life in a different way and have fun with them, but don't see a tarot reader as someone who's giving you the gospel truth, because that's inappropriate. And it's an inappropriate way of thinking anyway. I mean, you don't just approach someone off the street and assume that they are going to know everything and have precisely the right take upon absolutely everything, do you? No. And likewise with a lot of other experts around there. If you were to take two individuals from different political parties and ask them the same question, you get different answers. And that's just the same with individuals, full stop, humans. That's just the same with mechanics. Alright, if you take your car to one mechanic, he'll say one thing's wrong with it. You take him to another mechanic, he'll find something else is wrong with it. Or indeed they'll say that something else is wrong with it. So and these are people who might have had their head under a car bonnet for 20 or 30 years. Okay? So the attitude you need to take to your tarot reading is that it's there for entertainment. It's there to make you feel good, think about life differently, maybe go through an emotional roller coaster because that might be fun and pleasant. You can use it creatively. Some people use it religiously, alright, because for some people tarot itself is like a religion, or is something which elaborates upon their existing theological interpretation just that little bit more. And that's fine, it's all well and good, but when it's being sold as a commercial service, it should be regarded as being an entertainment service, but one which can be useful if you use it in a certain way. And I just wanted to leave you with that to make sure you're thinking about this correctly, and everything will be okay. Looking forward to seeing you next time on The Tarot Show with the absolutely amazing and fantastic Nick Dutch. Speak to you in a while.